It's Wednesday, July 26th, and this is your coffee break on the HAN Network. I'm Kate Czaplinski with the latest local news, including a Wilton teen charged with sexual assault, a third budget veto in Stratford, and much more. Frank Rito has a look at your forecast and a Nutmeg Sports update later on, and Donald Ang will also join us to take a look back on this day in history. But first, a 19-year-old Wilton man was arrested by Wilton police on a warrant July 24th for sexual assault. It's alleged that he assaulted a 19-year-old female friend while she slept at his home back on June 19th. Now, police said Duncan O'Neill of 32 Fawn Ridge Lane was charged with sexual assault in the 4th degree. He was released on a $20,000 bond, and his court date is August 3rd in Norwalk Superior Court. In other news, police arrested a Milford man whom they say became irate after being told he couldn't smoke marijuana until police left his premises. Now, that incident occurred July 24th at 1:15 in the afternoon. Milford police responded to a Bertrose Avenue residence on a complaint of a possible domestic violence incident. During the investigation, 30-year-old John Mashad allegedly told officers that since it was his home, he was going to smoke marijuana because he had a medical marijuana card. Well, after being told he needed to wait until the investigation was over, he became irate and began fighting with officers on scene. Mashad is accused of punching and kicking multiple officers and also grabbing the genitals of a male officer. Both officers suffered minor injuries and damage to personal property. Mashad was charged with assault on a police officer, interfering with arrest, as well as breach of peace and criminal mischief. And the Connecticut Post reports that Stratford police arrested at least one person this morning after an alleged sexual assault and the recovery of a stolen weapon. That according to a statement from the Stratford Police Department. Now, an ambulance was sent to the scene according to dispatch reports from Stratford. For a woman at the scene declined medical attention, and police were pulled off of a traffic patrol as a result of that incident. Well, Norwalk police on Monday arrested a Waterbury man following an undercover drug bust. On July 24th, an undercover officer contacted 43-year-old Derek Wiggins, who officers had learned was selling crack cocaine in Norwalk. The undercover officer met with Wiggins and found him to be in possession of the drug. Officers then moved in to arrest Wiggins on New Canaan Avenue near Tyndall Place. Wiggins allegedly violently resisted arrest and was tased before officers were finally able to secure him in handcuffs. The crack cocaine that Wiggins was in possession of field tested positive for the presence of fentanyl. Now, he faces several charges, including selling drugs within 1,500 feet of a school. And Ridgefield police have given an update on a June shooting, according to the Ridgefield Press. After shots were fired in the night, a reported attempted car theft, a 15-year-old girl turning up at a Waterbury hospital with a bullet in her back, and the seizure of guns, ammunition, expended cartridges, over 7 pounds of suspected marijuana, and more than $26,000 in cash, Ridgefield police report that they are still investigating that incident at 28 Holda Lane that happened in the early morning hours of June 5th. Now, Police Captain Jeff Kreitz, the public information officer for the department, said on Thursday that the department was working on the investigation with the prosecutor's office in Danbury, and they had been in contact with Waterbury police as well. Now, an affidavit filed by Ridgefield police when seeking a search and seizure warrant for 2 cars thought to be involved in that incident asserted that police believed the contents of the vehicles might be evidence of crimes, including first-degree reckless endangerment, risk of injury to a minor, as well as unlawful discharge of a firearm. And you can follow more on that story at theridgefieldpress.com. And for the 3rd time this year, Stratford Mayor John Harkins has rejected a budget for the 2017-2018 fiscal year approved by the town council. Harkins acted Tuesday to veto a $217.1 million spending plan that was passed at a July 13th special meeting. Harkins also vetoed the mill rate of 39.20 mils, which was an increase of 0.21 mil from the 2016-2017 rate. Now, Harkins said Tuesday in his veto notice that the amended budget represents poor decision-making and will have a negative impact on the town of Stratford moving forward. Harkins said the assumption by the council to approve a budget with a $500,000 increase in state education cost-sharing funds is naive, if not reckless, given the uncertainty of the state's budget picture. The Stratford Board of Education, Harkins said, cannot satisfactorily run the Stratford school system under the approved budget, which includes, he said, some wild assumptions. We're going to be talking more about Stratford's budget battle on CT Pulse today, coming up at 12:30. And in other news, Stamford police yesterday were going through local parks with police dogs looking for hidden weapons. The Stamford Advocate reports that Captain Richard Conklin said on Tuesday afternoon the exercise involves about 5 officers and 2 or 3 dogs trained in finding explosives and firearms. The officers swept Hatchfield Park on the city's west side and were almost finished yesterday with nearby Carwin Park. Conklin said they're going through the parks because of recent shootings. A little over a week ago, a man was shot 5 times on Spruce Street, and a house on Seaside Avenue was shot at twice. And the Connecticut Agricultural Experiment Station has identified West Nile virus in 4 new towns and mosquitoes: Greenwich, South Windsor, Stratford, and Westport. The mosquitoes were trapped from July 12th through the 19th. Now, more West Nile virus positive mosquitoes were also identified in West Haven, where the virus has been previously found in late June. According to officials there, we are beginning to see an expansion of West Nile virus activity in Connecticut. Now, Dr. Theodore Andriakis, director of CAES, said we expect further buildup of West Nile virus in mosquitoes with increased risk of human infection in the coming weeks. You can get more information at any of our HAN network news sites. But let's take a turn now, throw it over to Frank Granito for a look at the forecast. Frank, it's a beautiful day.
Absolutely gorgeous out right now, Kate, and it looks like it's going to be a beautiful day all day long, with conditions warming back up and mostly sunny skies throughout the afternoon. A high of 82 for today, along with a light breeze between 10 to 12 miles per hour, combined with low humidity levels, should make for an absolutely perfect evening as we head back to Trumbull High School to crown this year's Babe Ruth New England Regional Champion. Similar conditions earlier in the day tomorrow, with temperatures in the low 80s, a light breeze with a mix of sun and clouds through the early afternoon. Humidity will start to increase in the later parts of the day, along with cloud cover, which could lead to some overnight showers and thunderstorms before Friday morning. And it's not looking like one of the best days to end the work week, though, on Friday. Mostly cloudy skies and muggy conditions. Temperatures in the mid to high 80s during the day and very humid out, which will bring along scattered thunderstorms and showers through Friday evening. It'll be overcast Friday night with a low of 65, and there is a chance for on and off rain that carries in to Saturday morning to start your weekend. That's going to do it for this weather update. Let's go back over to Kate.
All right. Thanks so much, Frank. Well, we're going to step out for a break, and when we come back, Donald Ang will take a look back on this day in history. Frank has your Nutmeg Sports update, and there's more local news coming up after this.
Now teeing off, Paul Miller from Miller Nissan in Fairfield.
Excuse me, Mr. Miller. What about my new Sentra?
Right now, lease a 2017 Sentra S for only $97 a month.
He is never going to retire.
At Pure Barre Ridgefield, our tried and true method can shape every body and fit any schedule. Pure Barre is a total body workout using the ballet bar to perform small isometric movements which burn fat, sculpt muscles, and create long, lean physiques. Sweat away the day and get lost in the music. Pure Barre Ridgefield, located at 86 Danbury Road. Like us on Facebook at Pure Barre Ridgefield.
School's out, the weather is hot, and the fish are biting. Whether you're heading to the beach or out on a boat, stop in at the dock shop before you go to fill your beach bag or tackle box with everything you'll need for fun in the sun. A new beach cover-up, some sunscreen, or just some bait, the dock shop has you covered from either location. 51 Tokenique Road, Darien, 609 Riverside Avenue, Westport. And yes, you heard that right. Bait is now available in Darien and Westport. The Dock Shop, 51 Tokenique Road, Darien, 609 Riverside Avenue, Westport. DockShop.com.
If you're watching this broadcast, you're not alone. The HAN network is available for 200,000 Connecticut cable customers on the Frontier network, and we've also reached more than 2 million viewers on our free live streaming sports, news, and entertainment broadcasts. To reach our rapidly growing audience, contact Advertising Director Jessica Murrin at 203-273-7312 or email jessica@han.network. If you've ever thought about owning a motor coach or learning about what it's like to travel the open road in superior style and comfort, then contact Dave's RV Center in Danbury, Connecticut. Offering the best quality Class A motorhomes from Newmar, travel trailers and fifth wheel lines from Surveyor, and a toy hauler line from Work and Play. Choose from Newmar's Gas Line, Base Star and Canyon Star, or from Newmar's Diesel Line, Ventana and Dutch Star. And with unparalleled service and maintenance, Dave's RV is committed to keeping you and your motor coach safely on the road and enjoying it to the fullest. Stop by their showroom, 2 Industrial Plaza Road, Danbury, Connecticut, or call 877-483-3866. If you've ever thought...
Welcome back to this July 26th edition of your Coffee Break on the HAN Network. Time to take a look back on this day in history with Donald Eng. Don, what do you have for us today?
Well, Kate, it was one of the largest extensions of civil rights in American history. First, though, we go all the way back to 1775. The U.S. postal system is established with Benjamin Franklin, nearly 70 years old, by the way, as the first postmaster general. He had authority over all postal delivery from Massachusetts to Georgia, and his salary was $1,000, the equivalent of about $30,000 today. Franklin had about 40 years experience in postal delivery from publishing his newspapers and as an agent of the Crown for a decade before being dismissed in 1774 for being overly sympathetic to the colonies. 1945, the Labour Party wins the UK general election by a landslide, removing Winston Churchill from power. Now, the Labour Party had run on a platform of greatly expanded social benefits and comprehensive health care. Ironically, so had the Conservatives. Historians have concluded that the results stemmed from a belief that Conservatives, while better at fighting wars, are not as good as Liberal leaders as rebuilding countries post-war. Also, there was a widespread mistaken belief that Churchill would continue as Prime Minister regardless of which party won the election. And speaking of elections and governments, President Harry Truman in 1947 signs the National Security Act of 1947 into law. This creates the CIA, the Defense Department, the Air Force, the Joint Chiefs of Staff, and the National Security Council. That photo, by the way, is not the official one. That's a staged one. The actual signing took place aboard the predecessor to Air Force One, which was nicknamed the Sacred Cow. Finally, now we go to 1990 in Washington, D.C. for this.
The most people ever gathered on the White House lawn for a signing was July 26, 1990. Never been that many people there for a signing of a bill before. Biggest group ever in the history of this country.
I had the pleasure and the real privilege to ride to the ADA signing ceremony with John McCain. So we drove right into the White House, and then we walked outside and became part of the masses. The South Lawn was packed with people. All of them there had worked and worked and worked to see the law pass. So it was a shining day and a shining moment. And I mean, history and the weather just cooperated in a way you don't see.
That, of course, the Americans with Disabilities Act of 1990, signed into law by President George Bush. Essentially, the act extended the Civil Rights Act of 64 to those with disabilities, though unlike the Civil Rights Act, the ADA required employers to make reasonable accommodations to employees with disabilities and also mandated accessibility in public accommodation. That is your look back in history for today, July 26th, and I'm Donald Eng.
All right, thanks so much, Don. Well, in other local news, William G. Lucy, a native of Wilton, will be Long Island Sound's new soundkeeper, according to Save the Sound. Now, in anticipation of its upcoming merger with Soundkeeper Inc., Save the Sound is putting the new soundkeeper on the water. Long Island Sound had been without its iconic on-the-water watchdog since Soundkeeper Inc. co-founder Terry Backer died in late 2015. Lucy is a fish and wildlife biologist, a former commercial fisherman, and an experienced advocate. He led a coalition to successfully contest a timber sale on tribal lands in Alaska, as well as lobbied federal agencies in after 3 decades of conservation work across North America. He also decided the time was right to bring his expertise back to benefit Long Island Sound. And there's a lot more on his background and his new position at any of our HAN Network news sites. But let's throw it over to Frank Granito for a Nutmeg Sports Update.
Thank you, Kate. As the HAN Network was live at Trumbull High School last night for the semifinals of the 2017 Babe Ruth 14s New England Regional Tournament. First up at 4 o'clock, it was the host town Trumbull putting their undefeated record on the line against Keene, New Hampshire in a rematch of Friday morning's opening game. Trumbull sent their ace Alex Harvey to the bump, and the young man delivered, going all 7 innings, holding Keene to just 2 runs, 6 hits, and he retired 16 of the final 21 batters he faced. to pick up a 4-2 win. Trumbull got all the offense it needed in the first inning behind a 2-run triple by Jackson Vicente and RBI singles from Brandon Buda and Andrew Harvey as the Trumbull travel team sent all 10 batters to the plate in the home half of the inning on their way to a regional championship appearance. In the second semifinal, Trumbull awaited the winner in the battle for Massachusetts as Pittsfield, representing Eastern Massachusetts, took on Hingham Hull, representing the western half of the state. Hingham Hull, the only other undefeated team entering the semifinals besides Trumbull, found themselves in trouble, trailing 3-0 entering the bottom of the fifth, but a leadoff walk and a swinging bunt by the 8 and 9 hitters ignited the rally that Western Mass needed, as they would go on to score 4 runs in the inning and hold on for a 4-3 victory. So now the winners of both Pool A and Pool B will meet in this afternoon's championship game from Trumbull High at 5 o'clock. The HAN Network will be live with a special Nutmeg Sports at 4:30, serving as your pregame show as well, and we will run right up to 5 o'clock and first pitch, which you can see live and the entire game right here on the HAN Network. That'll do it for this Nutmeg Sports update. Let's send it back over to Kate.
All right, thanks so much, Frank. Well, Milford legislators are speaking out about the closing of the Department of Motor Vehicles office in Milford, saying they will work to see that office reopened. State Representative Kim Rose said she had been working and in negotiations with the governor, the mayor of Milford, and the DMV commissioner about the issue of long lines at that branch and to keep it open. Starting this week, customers are being asked to use other nearby full-service offices in Hamden, Bridgeport, and Waterbury. Rose said, "I will continue to work to find a resolution and will keep residents posted on future developments." Now, the Department of Motor Vehicles announced last week their decision to temporarily close both the Derby and Milford DMV service centers due to long wait times. You can get a lot more at milfordmirror.com. And the Darien Nature Center is holding a contest to name its new screech owl. This owl came from the Delaware Valley Raptor Center in Milford, Pennsylvania, with vision impairment. It was there for about 4 months before it was brought to the Darien Nature Center. Now, according to the center, owls are difficult to sex and age, so they're not sure if it's a male or a female or how old it is. The owl is settling into its new home with the Nature Center's other screech owl named Blinken, and the two are getting along well. Now, that naming contest is from now through August 5th, and the center's animal curator will choose a winner, and that person will receive a prize. Comments and voting can be registered at the Darien Nature Center's Facebook page. Well, we are going to step out for a break, and when we come back, we're going to recap some of the top stories we're following on your coffee break after this.
Want a new experience in car buying? No aggravation, no confrontation, just answers to all your questions. Scap Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram. Car buying the way you want it to be. With one of the largest selections of new 2- and 4-door Jeep Wranglers available, we are Connecticut's Wrangler headquarters. Located in Fairfield, Connecticut, we're easy to get to. Just 2.5 miles off the Merritt Parkway, exit 44 via Route 58 South. Save thousands right now at the summer clearance event. Going on now through July 31st.
At InSports Trumbull, the game is always on inside. Registration is now open for our fitness training programs for high school athletes. The InSports Performance Center is offering blast speed classes, athletic functional movement assessments, and both men's and women's elite speed and strength training. Our premier programs help bring athletes to the next level. Call 203-268-1214 for more information. Like and follow us on Facebook.
Want a new experience in car buying? Scap Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram with one of the largest inventories of new 2- and 4-door Wranglers. We are Connecticut's Wrangler headquarters. Come visit our new Ram Truck Center. Browse our websites, scapchryslerjeep.com or scapdodge.net to find the new Jeep, Chrysler Dodge car, minivan, or Ram truck you've been looking for. Just 2 miles from both I-95 or the Merritt Parkway exit 44. Save thousands right now at the summer clearance event. Going on now through July 31st.
Celebrate summer with fresh made-to-order picnic boxes from Walter Stewart's Market. We have delicious summery selections from buttermilk fried chicken to grilled lemon chicken kebab, grilled shrimp Caesar salad wraps, or lobster salad rolls. Our easy-to-carry picnic boxes come with your choice of a meal, as well as a dessert, beverage, and utensils. Order online for simple pickup options. Walter Stewart's Market, 229 Elm Street, New Canaan, and online at stewartsmarket.com. A Better View Window Cleaning Plus has been cleaning glass all over Connecticut for over 20 years. They also specialize in cleaning chandeliers, mirrors, skylights, tiles, and will power wash anything that needs cleaning. They hold an A+ rating with the Better Business Bureau and are fully insured and bonded. When you deal with the Better View, you're dealing with the best, not the rest. Call today for a free estimate, 203-284-8836, or visit them online at betterviewcleaning.com.
I'm Tracy Masella, a licensed clinical social worker at Silver Hill Hospital in New Canaan. Join me each month as we talk with experts on the front lines of the treatment of mental health and addiction. Straight Talk with Tracy, a Silver Hill Hospital production, airs at 12 p.m. on the second Thursday of each month here on the HAN network.
We're back on this Wednesday edition of your Coffee Break on the HAN network. I'm Kate Czaplinski, recapping some of the top stories we're following today. A 19-year-old Wilton man was arrested by Wilton police on a warrant July 24th for sexual assault. It's alleged that he assaulted a 19-year-old female friend while she slept at his home back on June 19th. Police said Duncan O'Neill of 32 Fawn Ridge Lane was charged with sexual assault in the 4th degree. He was released on a $20,000 bond, and his court date is August 3rd in Norwalk Superior Court. And police arrested a Milford man whom they say became irate after being told he couldn't smoke marijuana until police left the premises. Now, this incident occurred July 24th at 1:15 in the afternoon. Milford police responded to a Bertrose Avenue residence on a complaint of a possible domestic violence incident. Well, during the investigation, 30-year-old John Mashad allegedly told officers that since it was his home, he was going to smoke marijuana because he has a medical marijuana card. Well, after being told he needed to wait until after the investigation was over, police say he became irate and began fighting with officers on scene. Mashad is accused of punching and kicking multiple officers and also grabbing the genitals of a male officer. Both officers suffered minor injuries and damage to personal property. Mashad was charged with assault on a police officer as well as interfering with arrest, breach of peace, and criminal mischief. And the Connecticut Post reports that Stratford police arrested at least one person this morning after an alleged sexual assault and the recovery of a stolen weapon. That according to a statement from the Stratford Police Department. An ambulance was sent to the scene, according to dispatch reports from Stratford first responders. A woman at the scene declined medical attention, and police were pulled off of a traffic patrol as a result of that incident. And in other news, Norwalk police on Monday arrested a Waterbury man following an undercover drug bust. On July 24th, an undercover officer contacted 43-year-old Derek Wiggins, who officers had learned was selling crack cocaine in Norwalk. The undercover officer met with Wiggins and found him to be in possession of the drug. Officers then moved in to arrest Wiggins on New Canaan Avenue near Tyndall Place. Wiggins allegedly violently resisted arrest and was tased before officers were finally able to secure him in handcuffs. The crack cocaine that Wiggins was in possession of field tested positive for the presence of fentanyl. He faces several charges, including sale of drugs within 1,500 feet of a school. And Ridgefield police have given an update on a June shooting, according to HAN's Ridgefield Press. Well, after shots were fired in the night, a reported attempted car theft, and a 15-year-old girl turning up at a Waterbury hospital with a bullet in her back, and the seizure of guns, ammunition, expended cartridges, over 7 pounds of suspected marijuana, and more than $26,000 in cash, Ridgefield police report they're still investigating that incident at 28 Holda Lane. It occurred in the early morning hours of June 5th. Police Captain Jeff Kreitz of the Ridgefield Department said on last Thursday that the department was working on the investigation with the prosecutor's office in Danbury, and they have been in contact with Waterbury police as well. Now, an affidavit filed by Ridgefield police when seeking a search and seizure warrant for 2 cars thought to be involved in that incident asserted that police believed the contents of the vehicles might be evidence of crimes, including first-degree reckless endangerment, risk of injury to a minor, and unlawful discharge of a firearm. And for the 3rd time this year, Stratford Mayor John Harkins has rejected a budget for the 2017-2018 fiscal year approved by the town council. Harkins acted Tuesday to veto a $217.1 million spending plan that was passed July 13th at a special meeting. Harkins also vetoed the mill rate of 39.20 mils, which was an increase of 0.21 mil from the previous year. Harkins said Tuesday in his veto notice that the amended budget represents poor decision-making and will have a negative impact on the town of Stratford moving forward. Harkins said the assumption by the council to approve a budget with a $500,000 increase in state education cost-sharing funds is naive, if not reckless, given the uncertainty of the state's budget picture. The Stratford Board of Education, Harkins said, cannot satisfactorily run the Stratford school system under the approved budget, which he said includes some wild assumptions. Now, we're going to be talking more about the Stratford budget battle on CT Pulse coming up today at 12:30. Let's take a turn, get one final look at the forecast with Frank Granito. Frank.
Thank you, Kate. And again, an absolutely gorgeous day out right now. Conditions starting to warm back up, and we're going to see mostly sunny skies through the day. A high of 82 for this afternoon, along with a light breeze between 10 to 12 miles per hour. Combined with the low humidity levels should make absolutely perfect weather for this afternoon's Babe Ruth Regional Championship game at Trumbull High. We'll see similar conditions earlier in the day tomorrow with temperatures in the low 80s and a light breeze, a mix of sun and clouds as well. But later in the day, humidity levels will be on the rise along with cloud cover, and we could see some late evening showers and thunderstorms that carry into overcast skies tomorrow night, a low of 65 and a chance for some thunderstorms and rain before Friday morning. Not looking like a great one for Friday. It's going to be muggy and mostly cloudy all day long. Temperatures in the mid-80s during the day, but very humid, and that's going to bring along some scattered showers and thunderstorms through the afternoon. Stays overcast overnight, and we could see some on and off periods of rainfall heading into the weekend and Saturday morning. That's going to do it for this weather update. Don't forget, Nutmeg Sports is at 4:30 this afternoon, live from Trumbull High, as we bring you pregame coverage all the way through to 5 o'clock, where we will have the Babe Ruth Championship game live for the New England Regional Tournament. The winner going on to Virginia in the World Series. That again right here. Back over to Kate.
All right, very exciting. Well, we're going to wrap things up here on your coffee break. CT Pulse coming up at 12:30, of course, and as Frank mentioned, a busy day, the Babe Ruth Championship coming up. Yes?
That's right.
Okay,
got it.
just making sure. I was worried I was going to mess that up. All right, we will see you tomorrow for your coffee break at 11. Have a great day.